It is time for another reading this morning, and this one is entitled, "The Church Where Everything Goes Wrong." This was written by the Reverend Elea Kemler, so it's important to remember that this is written from the point of view of a pastor. But this message is for all of us. And in particular, I would like to dedicate it to my fellow worship associates, the group that works every week of the year. The whole Sunday morning of experience takes a lot of people. The worship associates work 52 weeks out of the year to make worship happen here in this church. And the fact that we're called worship associates, I'm bringing this up, you'll see how it works perfectly with the reading. The fact that we're called worship associates is really quite a UU thing. Because in other denominations, what we do would be called being a lay worship minister. But that's just not UU-ing enough. That doesn't have the UU patina to it. We need a term that has a lot of syllables. And it needs to be ambiguous enough so that when you tell people you do it, they have no idea what that means. It actually sounds like we might sell Bibles for a living. And with that, let us delve into Reverend Kemler's word. 6 weeks into the church year, I have realized that I am the minister of a church where things usually go wrong. This morning, the copy machine jams repeatedly. The bulletin describing the order of worship has been copied with the second page first and also upside down. No one has remembered to turn on the lights in the sanctuary before the service, so it is dark because it's also raining outside. The microphone is buzzing and lets out a painful, high-pitched squeal, which makes people wince. We have just started the service when someone runs up with a bunch of flowers for the altar, just as someone else runs in with one of the silk arrangements we keep for the mornings when no one brings real flowers. There is laughter as the two flower bearers meet at the altar. They decide on the real flowers. Things settle down for a while until a baby starts crying, which sets off another baby crying. I try to speak over their wailing as their fathers hustle them down the aisle and try to distract them in the back. Usually I love watching the tall, gentle fathers who bounce their babies in their backpacks at the rear of the sanctuary. But today I am annoyed because I want it to be quiet and holy and lovely, and things are definitely not shaping up that way. The woman who is helping with worship gets up and instead of giving the announcements, introduces the candle lighting time, which actually comes later. People call out, "Not yet!" And there is more laughter. The organist starts playing the wrong hymn, and a couple of choir members yell over the din for him to stop. A few minutes later, during the period for prayerful silence, he accidentally falls into the organ keyboard, causing the organ to emit horrible gassy noises, shrieks, snorts, all sorts of laughter. All pretense of Sunday morning decorum is lost, and something inside me, some furious, bossy desire to have my worship service go according to plan, finally slides free, and I can laugh with them. This will be the first of many times that I laugh at Sunday morning details gone awry. It is also the first of many times that I imagine God is watching, looking up or down or over or out at us from wherever God sits on Sunday mornings, slightly amazed and maybe at a loss for words, because we, God's people, are so funny and wonderful and odd all at the same time. I imagine a God who is touched and maybe a little honored by our efforts. I imagine a God who is moved by our attempts to care for one another and name the things we know as holy. There is warmth in this congregation that is new to me, a simple friendliness that shines through the fumblings and failures, a love that makes the ragged edges smooth. I have always wanted to believe, really believe, that our mistakes aren't the most important parts of us. I have always wanted to believe that kindness and compassion matter more than anything. I sense that I can learn this here.